Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today has been with me so long on my radio show, and finally he is joining me on TV because he's too big. He's got a book. We'll talk about that in a little while. Senior Vice President of Sports and Entertainment for Mohegan Sun Casino, Tom Cantone, joins me. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sean. I got lost getting here, but it was worth finding the place.
Yeah, I told you, if you'd just taken the limo, you wouldn't have had any problem at all, or your helicopter, or whatever.
Where's my entourage when I need them?
So I want to set the stage here because both of us have interesting paths. You stuck with me from my old radio station to the where it is now,
Yep.
and also you went from one casino to where you are now. Actually, you go way back, but just for local purposes.
Yeah. Actually, you're following me.
Is that how it works? Yeah, that's how it's going to work. So let's talk about, first of all, for the few unfortunate souls who have not experienced Mohegan Sun Casino, paint them a picture.
It's unlike anything you've seen. I can't imagine, since it's been in the town for so long,
Right.
that people haven't been. But you're right, they probably haven't been there. It's really, the entertainment capital of New England. That's the best way to put it. And it's not a casino. It happens to have a casino, but it happens to have a mall. It happens to have phenomenal restaurants with some of the biggest names, Michael Jordan and Bobby Flay's, and Tuscany is off the charts good. Great spa, 5-star hotel, a world-class arena now that's ranked among the elite venues in the world nationally. There's just a basketball team. It's just,
just announced a lacrosse team.
A lacrosse team, our second sports franchise. So it's really a city into itself, and it's clean, it's safe, free parking. People come from all over the world. We're event driven. We have some of the biggest events on the planet. So I always say, even when I was in Atlantic City, what did people do before this existed? Because you have the metropolis of the entertainment world right there, right in your backyard. How cool is it that you can see Justin Timberlake and Katy Perry and Bruno Mars minutes away? And I don't know, that doesn't happen in every community. So it's really a cool place to be. You don't have to gamble. You can go out and have fun with your family.
You mentioned it as being a city. There was a time back when Superstorm Sandy came through, or some blizzard or something, people would check in, and you might not even know what's going on in the outside world if you just stayed in there. That was your sanctuary, and you could live like a king in there, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that was a haven for many people who were, needed a place to go. But, it's probably the one or two biggest casino resorts in the world today. I mean, it's really quite a complex. But I can't say enough about the people who run it. The men and women who run, a $2 billion, enterprise like that. I tip my hat to. It's really hard work, cleaning the place and getting it ready and securing it and doing all the many jobs that everybody does, 8,000 strong to do that.
And it looks, they do their jobs well for everything to run flawlessly and smooth and look the way it does. Yeah.
The guest service part of it is off the charts. I mean, we get compliments all the time. A lot of the tours start here now, because they're an elevator or ride away from everything. They don't have to get back in their car, they don't have to go back in the trucks, they don't have to keep traveling. It's right here. So, they do just a great job running the place.
You talked a little bit about some of the awards. Brag a little bit about, because it always seems to be happening. You move up on some list, and we're talking about in comparison to Vegas and other places all over the world.
Yeah, well, all over the world. Yeah. I mean, years ago, the arena venue was never ranked, and now we're proud to say the most recent rankings has us number 1 or 2 in the world for our size, and in the U.S. for a 10,000 seat venue or less. And now we're ranked 34th in the world and 11th in the United States for venues, regardless of size, all sizes. Most venues are way bigger than us, and maybe 2-3 times the size of us. We're 5 or 6 shows away from tying Madison Square Garden. You've got the O Arena in London and Uncasville in the same graph. That's really pretty cool.
And you'd also starting from humble beginnings, because when they were working on the arena, I go back a ways. They had the outdoor
Yeah, the
things
tent.
set. Yeah, the tent.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was,
Yeah,
right?
the tent. Hey, everything has to start, and
Right.
and now again, hats off to the crew, the technical crew, because they are the reason why we are where we are. When these tours roll in, they're very sophisticated today, as you know. Everything's high tech and high expectations. And when they roll in, they're met with an elite on the ground team that's ready to roll. And sometimes we help them rehearse and build their shows for them, like we did with Jennifer Lopez and Bon Jovi. And
So they have their own crews, but then you also have your crew
Yeah.
that's sort of like a build-in,
Oh, absolutely.
build-out
Yeah,
crew.
most venues have, pickup crews
Yeah.
or wherever they can find them.
That people that
Yeah.
just set up a chair or something like that.
My team knows the building inside and out, and they know the venue inside and out, and they know how to solve problems, and they're friends. A lot of them know the artists and the road crews from other past experiences. A lot of them have been around the world, so when they roll in, they're greeted with the best, and we got the best team on the planet.
And it helps being able to book the solid acts that come in there. We'll get to that in a little bit too. You mentioned one time, and this just goes to the scope of what Mohegan Sun is at this point. And you could say this about all casinos too, the ones that are doing it right. It used to be the gaming is what brought people in, and then everything else was sort of extracurricular, dinner, shows, all kinds of other things. Now, for example, what you do, the shows are so big, they're kind of what bring people in, and then the gaming is one of the other aspects, right?
Right. Yeah, the world has changed. It's event driven now. The industry, has learned that there's other reasons for people to come of all ages, and we got a great nightlife situation at Mohegan Sun too, with Mist, our nightclubs, and Glow by the pool, and so many things, Avalon. We got so much great stuff for younger people who are getting to know us and grow with us as well. Just like the artists do in the Wolf Den, we discover a lot and help kick off the careers of a lot of great artists later on in their career. Will play the bigger venues like ours, the arena, actually started there. And so, it's the same thing with people of all generations. They find a way and an interest that they come out and enjoy themselves. And it's not just about but you can go on, how great is it that you can go and play and maybe win and maybe have a great time and maybe get your money back. Plus, if you go to a movie, you don't get your money back.
Right.
Go to a ball game, you don't get your
Whether
money
the
back.
movie's good or not, or the game is
Right.
good or not.
Right. So, but it's really a social thing too.
Right.
You want to go out and have some fun. A lot of people just want to, use their time well, and have some fun with their time. And what a great environment to be. I've been in it all my life, so I'm sort of used to the bells and whistles and everything. But sometimes I stop dead in my tracks and I go, this is a great world. This is a great environment here. You got it all. You got a lot of excitement happening. They do a great job with the technology today, with the latest and greatest slot machines and, and all the poker tournaments and everything that go on. It's just really, you add that to the recipe of entertainment. So it's not the casino business. We're in the entertainment business.
Sure.
In fact, most casinos today, like ours, don't even say the word casino.
Right.
It's not even on their brand or building. So that's the biggest change.
Right. Poker's ups and downs in the world, does that affect you, what's going on outside the world besides what's in your venue?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Everything's cyclical. Poker was off the charts big,
Right.
5 years ago or something like that, but it's still big with the
Yeah.
younger players. And, they like to play poker.
Right.
So we got a beautiful poker room there, and a lot of casinos
You
do.
actually did away with it for a little while because it seemed like slot machines were more profitable, I guess, right?
No, we had it there, but we designed a special room for it in a special place, and it's still on TV and all
Right.
of that. But people like to play all different kinds of games, and if you have a player's card, you get rewarded, and there's a lot of incentive to have fun with your special games that you like.
There's also a big market for, I guess, I'll describe it as non-American because there are so many different nationalities that go in there and that want to experience it and be a part of it. But you have like whole separate areas of the casino dedicated.
The Asian market
Yeah.
is huge. It's huge. We built a special place just for that, Sunrise Square. It's like $20 million complex within a complex, But but it's big in the gaming business too. I mean, they're more on the gaming side. They're
Than a lot of the other stuff.
yeah. I always said if I ever build a casino, I would build one just for the Asian market, which Genting is I think doing in Las Vegas. They're going to cater right to the worldwide Asian market, and it's a big part of the business on that side, on the gaming side.
Right. So you were describing, everything that Mohegan Sun is, but describe the differences, pluses and minuses, when you drop a gorgeous casino like Mohegan Sun down in the middle of the woods in Uncasville, Connecticut. Compare that experience to what you would get going to a Vegas or an Atlantic City, where it's not just you, it's a whole, it's everybody else too.
Well, there are advantages to being in other places. Like Atlantic City has the boardwalk and the ocean. Vegas has the Strip and other places.
But once you leave those areas, then you got either a desert or a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, here, I mean, when I first moved up here, I didn't know what it was, coming from Atlantic City. And I always said, where would I like to live the rest of my life? Because I've seen a lot of places, visited everywhere. And then when I came here, it really hit me that this is the most beautiful part of the country. And I think a lot of people love New England.
The seasons.
Yeah, and Mystic especially, and being on the coast where I am, and then you've got this beautiful, natural setting that you're in that people really gravitate towards, and they get tired of maybe some of the other places that are just grinding out in your face. This is more, appealing to a lot of people.
Those other places you mentioned, it's more like it's like you're walking into a tourist trap knowing what it is. Here, it's in a picturesque setting. You have the choice of, it's a part of your community.
Yeah, it's more comforting, I think, to be honest with you. I've been to both.
Yep.
And it's like buzz. You can't stop. You can't get away from it. Here, you can have your choices, and it's great. And if you want to get in the car and go down the Mystic, the Mystic to me is like, Disney. It's, the bridge goes up and the tall ships come through, and you look at it and you go, this is like a theme park, but it's real, and people flood in from all over. And, you don't realize what you have until you take a step out. It's not just about what we do. It's about what the whole region is, and how everybody really takes pride in, look at everybody's homes. Everyone has a lot of pride living in this part of the country.
Let's take a break and come back. Senior Vice President of Sports and Entertainment at Mohegan Sun Casino. We'll tell you what that means and talk about this book, Book Em, when we come back. The website, by the way, for the casino is mohegansun.com. Very simple to remember, right? We'll take a break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is a regular with me on the radio every week, and I finally got him in to do the TV show, probably because he has a book, but for other reasons too. Senior Vice President of Sports and Entertainment at Mohegan Sun. Before we get into that and the book, I want to go back in time, because you had just mentioned in the last segment that you had come from Atlantic City to here, so that you've been in this business for a while. How far back do you want to go? We'll leave your birth out of it.
The reason I did the book was to celebrate my 30th anniversary. So that's sort of, the history of going back. And you blink and it's gone. I was a walk-on in the business. They recruited me from Hershey, where I loved and was, and they interviewed me at the Sands in Atlantic City. I said, well, I'll give it a shot.
Did you know what you wanted to do at that point?
Well, the job was the vice president's job there at the entertainment and marketing at the Sands. And I was director of corporate marketing at Hershey. So, a headhunter called. So I said, well, it's always nice to meet the president of a casino, and I've never even been to one. So, but we used to go down the Jersey Shore all the time, so I figured I'd do it on my way down. And so, to make a long story short, I interviewed. He offered me a job on the spot.
But you that was your background, though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Right. Not gaming, though.
Right.
Not gaming.
But the entertainment and the marketing and the booking aspect.
Yeah, the resort part of it, the hospitality end of things. So we had hotels and, powered a lot of the things they were doing. And here I am 31 years later.
How'd you end up, because you were at Foxwoods, the other casino in Connecticut before this, how'd you end up there?
Another phone call.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Boy, you got to keep your phone with you at all
Well,
times.
it's also in the book because I've been fortunate to be at the right place at the right time for not only me but for the what's latest and greatest in the industry going on. And when I was at Hershey, theme parks were the big thing that Disney was doing, and so our park and everybody else was trying. And then gaming came along, and it was just Vegas and Atlantic City. I was part of the boom years.
Wow, you really are everywhere where there is to be.
Oh, the boom years in Atlantic City, it was only 2 places to go, were off the charts. And then Connecticut exploded, and they called me to come up to Foxwoods, and it was good timing because I think Atlantic City was starting to go on the downside.
Right.
So once again, somebody was looking out for me, and I came up to Foxwoods and was there about 9 years. And then I had lunch one day with Mitchell Edis, who was a fantastic guy and known him for a while, and offered me a spot at Mohegan Sun.
It's funny, on the radio, you guys used to kind of rib each other.
Yeah.
You were almost like competitors
Right.
because he was doing stuff at Mohegan, you were
Yeah.
doing stuff at Foxwoods.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you've joined him. you
Yeah,
know?
well, I said if I can't beat him, I got to join him.
Right. Yeah.
But he's a great guy and a great leader, and wonderful to be with. I'm on a great team there.
Now, Mohegan has properties. I discovered this listening to New York radio because of the geographic location. They're also, aside from talking about Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, they're talking about the Poconos and then also Atlantic City, because you have properties in Atlantic City.
Well, we manage resorts in Atlantic City, which was the first casino. We own and operate the Pocono Downs in Pennsylvania, and then Connecticut. And we're trying to get the license for Massachusetts, which would be the elite license, the only one left, I think. That would be fantastic if we get it. And yeah, we're looking in New York and out in Washington and all over the place. So, our brand is so well known and recognized now that I think, we're really welcomed in a lot of potential opportunities to grow.
Do you have to have your other properties far enough away where you're kind of like not cannibalizing yourself a little bit?
Yeah,
is Massachusetts far enough away?
You want to be in the pockets of a market that you can thrive and survive in. Sure. Yeah. So it's right now the balance is pretty cool.
What's going on in Atlantic City right now?
On life support in some cases, although our property at resorts is on a 4-month win streak. So, but you don't hear about that much in the news. There is just too much growth around the market and not enough, to service it anymore. It's just, they were surrounded with, Pennsylvania, which became the second largest gaming market in the country.
Wow.
And I think that siphoned away a lot. Then New York opened with 2 mega, casinos, and that siphoned it away a little bit. I think what's going to happen is, the remaining casinos that are left standing will be strong and healthy and just redistribute the pie a little bit better, and they'll survive.
How about Vegas? I was just in Vegas. My director will tell you it doesn't count if you just land at the airport and then move on. But the airport itself is, because of Nevada, it's a casino too. How's that market?
I think it's starting to show signs of growth again. I mean, you hear conflicting things. But I think they're starting to become a little bit more healthy with their numbers. I know the convention side's doing pretty well. And the Strip had a really good run. And they're sort of like almost back. The other properties, are all hanging in. But the real story is the mega owners of the casino, there's like 2 or 3 mega conglomerates now that own just about everything.
Yeah.
They're really thriving because of Asia. And if you see their balance sheet, because of the Asian markets they're in, they're exploding over there.
Which is exactly why, you're doing, what you're doing here in this market, right?
Yeah, it's strong there. And so that's making them on balance look really strong. The Sands Las Vegas, the Steve Wynn's, they all have properties in Singapore and Macau and everywhere. And those markets are completely off the charts, setting records every day.
The title is Senior Vice President of Sports and Entertainment. What does that mean?
So my title?
Yeah.
It just means I get to stand in a different line at CVS, where all the seniors go.
The one with the velvet ropes on.
Yes, I get a little,
the seniors
AARP,
right.
Whatever I get. Nothing really. It just is. It's a lot of gratitude that I have blessed to Mohegan Sun for giving me the opportunity to be in a position where I can affect a lot of things to the good. And I say that in a humble way because a lot of what I love to do has nothing to do with entertainment. It has everything to do with people first. I love managing people. I love my team. I love getting the next generation of leaders ready to go. And we don't teach enough. Everybody processes, and we don't take the time to show and teach. And I spend a lot of time doing that.
All right, well, let me answer my own question the way that I expected you to answer it. You book all the tremendous acts that come to Mohegan Sun Arena and all the other venues in there. I want you to take a minute and just, and this is all in the book too, Book Em, and we're going to get to this in a second, I promise.
Yeah, there's only 3 minutes
Yeah.
left, and it's getting to the book at the end.
Tell me about some of the great acts that have come through and some of your big accomplishments in your mind, because there are so many.
There is a few that really stand out. I mean, to create a date versus booking one is usually a home run.
That's a good point.
And, when you go after someone who's not touring, doesn't have an act, the whole world wants that person. There's a million other things going on. That person's in the news every day. And to pick up the phone and get that person to come just to your place, just for that one special occasion, is almost like winning the lottery when you're booking. And that was the case with Jennifer Lopez.
I was at that show.
Yeah, it was the only date she did in the entire planet that year. She rehearsed and produced in L.A., came to Connecticut.
And she was at American Idol at the time, right?
On the cover of every magazines, in the studio. And when I booked it, everybody thought, oh, she's going out on tour. The whole world was calling her for dates. She's even as far away as overseas. Russia some promoter in Russia made some huge offer. So, it was really special that she came into our place. That broke so many records.
So much media covered it too.
It was for 3 weeks, not just one day. And so the shelf life on that thing was just forever. One Direction was another one. I was fortunate enough to get the hottest boy band group on the planet. We were the only 2 dates they did. We were the #1 tweeted brand all over the world, beating Coke, Procter & Gamble, everybody. People from Asia were talking to South America, London, Australia, all popping up Mohegan Sun everywhere, talking about One Direction is at Mohegan Sun. And so the social media part, Sean, has changed everything.
Absolutely.
Now you push a button and the whole world knows about it. Years ago, that didn't happen.
30 years you've been in the business, and then one day you said, I'm going to write a book and talk about everything that's been going on. Tell me about Book Em.
Well, I didn't write it to, you can pan in closer on that.
No, we have
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't write it to sell any books. It's really a story about how, wonderful things can happen to you if you get lucky enough and luck meets some opportunity and hard work. And, a kid from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania can become involved in American pop culture in some way, shape, or form. And people that I grew up with, listening to or loved, I actually now know or are friends with. And so you pinch yourself when that happens. And all I wanted to do was to have it as a leave behind or a reference for my kids to know later in life what their dad was up to all these years. And it's sort of found a life now because of the internet. And today, even publishing, you don't need a publisher anymore.
Right.
It finds its way on the internet. I've gotten orders from Australia, Hawaii, all over the place because people are find a home for things like this.
Amazingly, I got a copy signed for myself too. You haven't even name dropped your buddy Regis, who did the foreword for this book. Talk about Regis Philbin.
Longtime friend. I actually got his live act. I started in Atlantic City, and he never forgot that. And we sort of stayed friends. And every year it blossomed.
Is he happy with your success?
He's happy. Yeah. Well, we actually had a book signing release party in New York City at the Friars Club. He came actually to host it and kicked it off, and all the press was there. Access Hollywood, Extra, and CNN, and everybody came out, probably because of him for sure. But I asked him to write the foreword. He was happy to do it, and we've become really good friends. He's really one of the wonderful guys in show business, and I think holds the record for the most time on American television.
And by the way, one more record at Mohegan Sun is Billy Joel. Is it like
Yeah.
is it the quickest sold out or the most shows? Something
Well,
like that?
the most shows
Okay.
we've done, we did 10 consecutive sellouts in a row, and we could have sold 10 in a row immediately, but we sort of played it differently. We put only a few up at a time. And
Now, if people want to get Book Em, where can they go? What
just
can they
go
do?
TomCantoneBook'em.com and go from there.
TomCantoneBook'em.com, all one word?
Yeah.
And as we talked about off the air, you don't need the www
No,
anymore?
that's gone. That's
Yeah.
gone. But you know, the book is dedicated to my mom and dad, who aren't here anymore. My beautiful wife, who is the meaning of everything, and my 3 children, who is the reason I wrote the book originally.
And one thing that you haven't mentioned, my radio show is one of the big reasons for your success, which you won't
Without a
acknowledge.
doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Actually, but when I started to come on the show, your
Right.
ratings did go to
Skyrocketed.
number 1. Did go to number 1.
And
So
they
once
did.
again, good timing on my part.
Right, right. So thank you for that. And
Yes.
you know, you complained about seeing far too many of our billboards or whatever out there.
I know,
too.
and
Yeah.
I saw your picture in Teresa's,
Yeah.
and mine should actually be with that because
It should be in the middle, right? Right in the middle.
it became number 1 when I started to go
Go
on.
get Book 'em. This is a fantastic book. Tom Cantone, Senior Vice President of Sports and Entertainment. Thanks for spending a little bit on the show with me today.
Great.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for being a good friend.
All right. Thank you for joining us for another edition of For the Record. By the way, you can see this show and many others on our YouTube site. We will see you next time. Take care.